like we kind of got settled in, all started chatting to each other. I don't think I unpacked on my first day when I got there. That was like second day thing.
Okay, these are my friends. I know you all. We're going to walk in there together.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you settle in again. I feel like it is a little bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, definitely.
But I definitely I'm glad that I stuck it out those first 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, same.
I said a boom, chicka, rocket, chicka,
Rocket,
chicka,
chicka,
boom. All right.
Hi, I'm Libby.
And I'm Ffion.
And this is the Camp Leaders Podcast, where we talk all things summer camp, travel and America. This episode is going to be about the realities of working at a summer camp and our experiences in doing so. So if we start right at the start, do you remember your first day at camp?
My first day at camp ever. I do and I don't. I feel like it's all a little bit of a blur, so I was just meeting so many new people and kind of I feel like that whole week just merged into one. But I remember the first moments of getting to camp. So we got picked up from the bus station, and there was I think there was like 5 or 6 of us in the car. I can't quite remember. It was like a 7-seater. And I just remember my director picked us up, and then out of everyone he chose me and he said, Ffion, who's your favourite artist? Taylor Swift. So we listened to Taylor Swift the whole hour back to camp.
Nice.
And it was great. Everyone else hated it, but I loved it. And then I remember we got to camp and it was quite late, to be fair. So we just went straight to our cabin that we were in with all the lifeguards. We were in one cabin together. And there was already a couple of people in there that didn't come to pick us up. So they were still up with the lights on, kind of chit-chatting, waiting for us to get back, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
So then we just walked in and everyone just kind of started talking a little bit. There was still some people that were really shy.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have those people there that had already been chatting, and then they kind of brought us into the conversation and we kind of made our beds.
Hey guys.
Yeah, exactly.
How
like
y'all
really
doing?
awkward. Like we kind of got settled in, all started chatting to each other. I don't think I unpacked on my first day when I got there. That was like second day thing because we were just chatting on.
So you had like specific bunks for like your orientation week then?
Yes.
Yeah, we do so.
Yeah, so when we first got there, because I was doing the lifeguard training, we were just in one cabin together, but that wasn't our orientation bunk. But because we were there an extra week before everyone else got there for staff training, we all stayed in that bunk together.
Yeah, we did that, yeah.
And anyone that came slightly early, they stayed in there with us as well. But then after that, we all separated into what they called family groups, and that was orientation.
Aww.
So you're all part of a kind of like a team. So it was, because I went to a football camp, we had football teams, so it was different. It was like Liverpool, Manchester,
Really?
like Man City, like all those teams. I've never been on the Liverpool team. Don't know why. Anyway,
what were you on?
I think I was on like Arsenal.
Were they all like
Chelsea.
Premier League teams?
Yeah.
That's so
But it was just randomly assigned. So in your family group, you'd have people that would be like general counsellors, soccer staff, and then you'd have
just a mix of
just a
the whole
mixture.
gang. Yeah.
Maybe some housekeeping, kitchen staff as well. That would be in the family groups, and you'd be put in those cabins together to get to know people from different areas that you might not speak to as much when camp starts, because you get busy in your areas. But what do you remember your first day when you got there?
Yeah, so when we flew out, I flew out with like a girl that I'd met through like our camp WhatsApp page. When we flew out, we stayed in a hostel the night before in New York, because camp only picked us up from the train station at like set time. So for it to work, like with getting there, we had to stay in a hostel the night before. But it was nice because it was like, okay, these are my friends. I know you all. We're going to walk in there together. Yeah. So first day, actually, fun fact, my first day, my card got cloned in New York. So I just remembered that, yeah. I remember I had to get my mum to send money to my friend. This is obviously before we got to camp. And then she bought me 2 of those little egg things, the egg like baked.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It all went out in the end though.
Yeah.
And then she had to pay for my train ticket and everything to get to camp. So
and you'd only just met her?
Yeah, literally. And I was like, I'm not
nice
a scammer.
Though. Yeah,
my card's been cloned.
I'm actually going to camp.
You've been pranked. And then so we'd get the train into camp. So I can't remember what the train station's called, but like the big one. Yeah. And then in New York City, and then we get the train to camp, get picked up from there in like a big bus with people from camp. And so we have at my camp, I don't know if you have something similar, but we have something called the hospitality team. So it's like people who've been to camp before, and they basically get like you get picked to be in it, and then they're responsible, they wear yellow t-shirts, and they're responsible for like greeting people, and they're basically your like port of call. So like somebody from the hospitality team and leadership picked us up, which was nice. And then I remember we were listening to Maisie Peters. I don't know why. I
feel like you remember little things.
Yeah, just little things. And I remember we pulled out of the train station car park, and that was when I was like, I don't know why, but it was like driving down the motorway or whatever it's called. And I remember being like, I'm here. And then like we pulled in and we went past the sign. It was like and then, so because my first year I was the rocketry specialist, we flew out again for like specialist orientation. Which I really liked having, because it was kind of like there weren't that many of us there. There was probably like 30, and it was nice to get to know people before like the rush where like everybody else came, the cabin specialists. So yeah, we got put in our first orientation bunk, and I remember it was freezing, and I remember like I think I wanted to like get changed, or you don't know how things work, like what like the norm is and stuff. But the hospitality person in my bunk was great. That's what they're there for, like to ask things like that. Where do I get changed?
It seems like a silly question, but I know what you mean. Like when you get there, you're like, do I go to the toilet?
Yeah, like how do people do it? And then so I think we went for dinner like at camp. And then that was when I realised the baked beans were sweet. So I booked my return flight then. And
never went back.
Yeah, so our first night we just had tea, and then we did a campfire and stuff, which was nice.
Oh,
to like,
that's really nice.
Yeah, and I think as well, like all the leadership staff, like they didn't come, so it was just counsellors. So it was nice. Like, these are going to be my colleagues. And then the next day, that was when like
Do you remember how you felt when you woke up? Like the first morning that you woke up at camp?
I remember there was still a group there of pre-camp. So we have like groups can rent it out before we go. And there was like the last group of pre-camp, I think. I remember I woke up because, well, I thought I was jet lagged, but I learned today, apparently, scientifically, you can't get jet lagged if you're flying from here to the US.
Yeah, you get jet lagged on the way back.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So I wasn't jet lagged. My body was
You're just tired.
Yeah, my body was just in. So I woke up early, and then they were all like running around camp and stuff. And I was like, oh. And I remember I sat on this bench and rang my nan. Like, because I didn't want to wake everyone in the bunk up, and was like showing her. But yeah, and then that first day we did like specialist training. So I went to the rocketry room and taught myself my craft. So learn how to launch a rocket. But yeah, and then so we have that first week of training, and then I think it's probably the same with yours. Then we have like actual orientation, like where everybody else comes. And I think that first day it's kind of like daunting a bit, not daunting, but because I think you've just settled, and then it's all these new faces, and it's like here we go. I think
again. Those first 2 weeks are like a little bit up and down, because when you first get there, you're so excited, but like so scared, and then you settle in, and then you're like, oh, but now I'm scared about this.
And the beans are sweet.
And then you settle in again. I feel like it is a little bit of a roller coaster.
Definitely.
But I definitely I'm glad that I stuck it out those first 2 weeks.
Oh, same.
Because I feel like after those like roller coaster emotions, I was exhausted. But then the kids get there, and then you're like, oh.
I remember I rang my dad, and I was fine, and he was just like, hiya. I was like, I don't know why, because I think it is like it's such like a week of like different emotions. So our like actual orientation week, when everybody's there, the cabin specialists, for us that's like we don't really do our activities anymore. Is that the same for you? It's just like team building.
Yeah, mostly.
Like
they do kind of mock activities. So when everyone's there, the elective staff, which are like the activity staff, so they're the ones that'll do, and there'll be the lifeguards, the people that do archery, arts and crafts, and all of those, like cooking, all of those things. They will put on a day, well, not a day, but like a few hours in one day, where they run those activities, and then the people that aren't teaching activities will go and do them,
like as the campers.
As campers, yeah. So then they can get used to teaching the activity essentially, and the lifeguards can get used to what it'll look like. They need to sign people in and out on a board, and put a life jacket on them and fit it and all of that stuff. So
cool.
They get used to that before the kids arrive, which I feel like when I was a lifeguard, that definitely helped me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if the first time I would have ever like got people in and out of the lake would have been when the kids were there, I would have been freaking out. Whereas because I already knew kind of how to go through the rules and all of that, and like what to do,
like the order of things. That's
just really
cool. That's a really good idea actually. Ours is our like orientation. We have like external groups that come in and do like training with us. Like what would you do in this situation, and if someone said this, or a camper's homesick, and we get training on things like that. We get training on how the day looks. So but then our orientation, I imagine yours is the same, but it's ran in the order of like a normal camp day. So like breakfast period 1, well, breakfast clean up period 1, like the day in camp. Ours is run like that. And then my favorite part, so as orientation's going on, like the group leaders or like head of division are watching basically, and they're sussing out what age they think you'd be good with.
Yeah.
So then that decision is made privately, and then about 2 nights before the end of orientation, we have a big staff reveal party. So it's always a theme. So first year it was colours, this year it was holidays, which caused a bit of carnage because us internationals took holidays as like Greece, going to Greece, Spain.
Yeah.
Then, but it was meant in the sense of like Christmas. So, last minute outfit tweak, and then like the group leaders get up on stage and it's like in this division, and then they read out your names and you go up, and then that's when you meet who you're going to be living with.
So a group leader, what do they do? Like,
so obviously you have the different age groups.
Yeah.
So we have like freshman, sophomore, junior, etc., etc. So each division has 3 bunks in, or 2 or 3 bunks, and each bunk has got 3 or 4 counsellors, and then there's like a head of each division. So somebody is like in charge of all of the freshmen, so the 3 bunks and 12 members of staff or whatever it is. So the whole week they're watching you to see like what age group they think you'd be a good fit with. But one thing I think is crazy is I've had a few of my friends who've been upset with the age group that they got, and it's never not worked out.
Yeah.
Like one of my friends, so I brought one of my friends, Abby, with me to camp this year, and she all before she came to camp, I was saying, you're gonna get the babies, you're gonna get the youngest. She thought she was gonna get the youngest, and then they called her name for the oldest age group, and she was like, I can't believe this. She was so upset. And then now it's like, there's no way you could have ever had the babies. Yeah. How does yours work with like, is yours a similar
it's
kind
quite
of thing?
similar, yeah, but ours is a lot smaller, our camp. But I was on the other side of it last year, so when I was at leadership. So we had meetings with all of the counsellors, and we asked them what age group they wanted.
Oh yeah, they do that, yeah. Nice.
And then kind of sussed out if they had an experience with kids and things like that. And then we made the decision ultimately, but we obviously took what they said into account quite a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very similar thing, like a big reveal to say, you know, who's going to be your supervisor and what age group and what cabin you're going to be in. Because all of the cabins at the camp that I go to are named after US women's national players. So I think there's only like 12 cabins or something, but yeah, they're all named after different US women's. So you like say the name of the cabin and then who the counsellors are going to be in there, so they know like who they're going to be paired with, basically.
That's so cool, yeah, because it's kind of makes me nervous thinking about it. I feel like that night, like we're all like stood in a crowd watching the stage, like you know, like, waiting for your name to be called. It is so nerve-wracking. So then our last few days of orientation are spent learning about that specific age group.
Yeah.
So like obviously the issues that you might come across with like the youngest kids is going to be different to the oldest kids. So our last bit of orientation is just mainly that, and then after that it's the kids arrive.
Yeah.
Do your kids get dropped? I assume yours get dropped off if it's every week.
Their parents drop them off. So they come in, parents will drop them off, they'll meet with their like group leader, res life leader kind of person first, and then they'll get taken down to their counsellors and then sit with their cabin basically and get to know them, because they're only there for a week, so they kind of want to get to know each other quite a lot. But often they'll come with friends as well, like there might be like 2 friends in a bunk or like 3 friends in a bunk.
Okay, that's good.
They're not allowed more than 2 or 3 because it could get cliquey.
Yeah,
so
like
they
a whole
have to
bunch
be
of friends.
split up. But yeah, they all get dropped off then. But yours,
so you can get dropped. They can get dropped off, but we have like buses that go and collect them to like near like cities and states. So you sign up to be a bus counsellor, and if you get picked, so this year I was somewhere in New Jersey, so it was about an hour or so drive, and then you just stand in the car park, like you sign the kids on, and with some of them like they're upset, like they're saying goodbye to their mum, so you're kind of trying to like distract them onto the bus. It'll be fine. Come on. And then as well, while you're on the bus as well, like you've got people who are like upset, but I found for the most part the kids were trying to suss out whose counsellor I was, because they don't know at that point. They find out when they get off the bus, so they were like, are you my counsellor? But I loved being like, I don't know, might be, you'll find out, maybe I am. Give it an hour, and then you get off the bus, and then the rest of the bunk are waiting. It's kind of awkward, like, I actually am your counsellor, hello. Nice to meet you. And then it's that's straight into it. I feel like it's such a quick it feels like you've been at camp for years, but I think it also flies by.
It does.
Until the kids are there. How did you find it, like living with kids, like going into that? Did you find it okay?
So I remember being like really scared my first year, because I think when I went, I didn't really know. Like, I think in the back of my mind, I knew that you'd be living with the kids, but I didn't really like know. Like, I thought, oh, maybe there's a separate staff cabin, or maybe this, like, because I feel like in England, you would like, you know, you wouldn't kind of stay in with the kids. There'd maybe be a separate one. I don't know. It's just more kind of like that. But when I actually got there, and the first week, it just felt so normal. It felt like really normal, because I couldn't imagine leaving them alone. Because it'd be carnage if they didn't have like counsellors in there.
That's what I think when I say it to my friends, and they're like, "Oh, you stay with them," and I'm like, "Well, like, yeah, I can't. You can't leave them,
because you're gonna like sit and play games with them at night anyway.
Yeah.
So then to sit and play games and leave, and
like,
farewell.
Yeah,
It's just more. It just feels kind of more natural to then say you're playing like some games and you're like, right, go brush your teeth, like get into bed, and then you can just get into bed as well.
Yeah.
And then
see, we do it slightly differently. So when it's like bedtime and they're getting into bed, we go and sit out on the porch.
Yeah.
We write like a log sheet, which, well, it's not really, it just kind of says if there's anything like our group leaders need to know about what happened that day. Maybe if somebody was like homesick or hurt themselves, it's just where you write down like a summary of the day, really. And then if it's your night off, as soon as the log sheet's handed in, you can go.
Yeah.
But then if you're OD on duty, you have to stay. So like the kids are going to sleep, you're sat in like the hammock or something reading, and you're basically just there for like if they're like upset, if they need anything, and you're just basically there to make them go to sleep. Which I found that was one of like my hardest things the first couple of days, is like getting them to sleep, because
you got to be like stern but fun
because they're so excited to see each other. I'm like, I get it. Like, if I'd seen my friends for a year, but that's it. Like you're gonna be tired in the morning. I feel like my mum, like when I was when I was like staying up before I went to school or something. But yeah, like living with them, I've never really found.
No, I've never found difficult, really.
No, me either. I think.
Did you not go with like? So when they went to bed, did you not go to bed?
No, we go and sit on the porch.
See, we'd go to bed when they go to bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we like let them go to sleep like on their own. Then once they're all asleep, you can come back in and go to bed. I don't know why it's something like that. I like it though. That's like my prime time.
Yeah.
It's when I thrive on the porch, like reading. It's like zen. Debrief.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that would be fine still. I don't know. We just didn't do it like that.
Yeah, see, I can't imagine going to sleep when they go to sleep. Isn't it funny how it's like all...
Because I feel like if I wouldn't have done that, then they wouldn't have gone to sleep. See the amount of times I used to have to be like, girls,
I'm trying to sleep.
quieten down, got my eye mask on.
Sleepy Ffion. Yeah, we'd have them like coming out and stuff. Like I had the 9-year-old girls and the 14. So that when the 9-year-old girls would come out, it would sometimes be when they were more like homesick. But like the 14-year-old ones would usually just want to yap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always found it completely fine. I think it's obviously something to adjust to when you first get there.
Oh, definitely.
Like it's
like I feel like the first like morning I was like, I'm gonna have to get up really early to go get changed before they wake up. But then the more you get into it, the more you ease into it. You can just go into like the bathroom stall, get changed. Like it's fine.
That's one of my like number one top tips, is get up before the kids.
Like be ready before you have to get them ready.
At least have like brushed your teeth, because it's when they're all getting up, they're all getting changed, they all need the toilet, they all need to brush their teeth, they all need to wash their face, and there's like 12 or 15 of you trying to wash your face. I would just say get up, even if you don't get changed, like just wash your face, brush your teeth.
Because I was not like that my first year, and my co-counsellor, who I'm really close friends with now, wasn't very happy with me, I don't think, because I used to stay in bed and then the alarm would go off, and I'd get one of the kids to turn the alarm off and I would still be in bed, which was chaos, to be fair. It's because then my second year, when I had the older kids, I was like, right, I'll get up, like get changed a little bit. Maybe some days I'll be a little bit lazy and I'd still be in bed when they'd wake up, but I found it easier on the days that I did get up before they got up.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have like your own alarm, or do you have like a
whole cabin alarm?
Yeah. Oh, we have like a camp one. It's on speakers, like do, 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 do. Good morning, Iroquois Springs. Like that.
Oh, so it's just like a little digital alarm clock, like above the door.
I was like the speakers around camp. Like,
we do not have that.
And then, so you just get them up, get them ready, and then breakfast.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
The younger ones go to flag raise, so that's where they'll raise the US flag for the day,
and just like
kind of say what they're thankful for, and maybe talk about any motivations for the day. I think my assistant director will say like a motivational quote from like a strong independent woman, because it's a female only camp, so just to kind of get them ready for the day, awake.
Yeah.
But the older kids don't go to it anymore because the camp got a little bit too big. So they kind of just go off separately now to breakfast.
We have flagpole, which is the same thing, but ours is like updates from the day as well. And then ours is like, we have like sections, like they do like the weather and stuff, but like everything's got like its own little like slogan, like it's time for, and then we say like yodeling yoga, and then we do yoga, but not like just like stretch, like not like, you know, actually.
See, we have that like when the res like leader or group leader goes round to the cabin in the morning, they'll take in like what's called, so my camp was Soccer Academy, so it's called the Berkey Times, and it'll have the weather for the day, what colour t-shirt you wear, like what the like the snack is, what the evening activity is, and all of that. So you'll read that out. You'll go around to each cabin before they leave for breakfast and say that stuff. So it's very similar. We just do it in different orders.
How have you found do you think the meals at camp are okay? Like breakfast, obviously you're gluten-free, a gluten-free queen.
I am gluten-free. I found my camp was really accommodating for the gluten thing. My first couple of years I didn't know that I needed to be gluten-free, so I just ate all the meals anyway. Okay. But yeah, I found the food was fine. I think when you're there for a while it maybe gets a bit repetitive. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get kind of like anxious about the meals, but I would say that the only crime is they're a bit repetitive. Like there's, at my camp as well, we have like a pasta bar and a salad bar at lunch, and no, just at dinner. Lunch we have grilled cheese, breakfast we have like bowls of granola and stuff, so we get served like a main, but if you don't like it, there's always
other options.
So
same with mine.
There's never been a time for me where it's like there is nothing for me to eat here. Like sometimes I've been like, I don't really fancy pasta, but yeah, like obviously I'm vegetarian, but I like being veggie at camp. Like I look at the meat options and I'm like, ooh.
I tried to be veggie gluten-free last year, and that was way too limited.
Much of a combo. Yeah.
Like there was not much for me.
Like I say, the food at camps, it's okay, but I think I look forward to days off. It's like,
you go for a nice little treat, go for a nice meal.
There's a bagel place by my camp, and it's like, that's like the day off thing. Like you get a bagel and then you go about your day. Like or there's a Dunkin' down the road. Yeah. So avocado toast. Have you ever had?
No, I think the only thing I've had from breakfast for Dunkin' is the like the ham and cheese croissant. And
the avocado toast. It's
all the hash brown bites.
Yeah. Delicious. That reminds me, camp hash browns as well are great.
Yeah, I don't remember my camp hash browns.
Do you not?
No.
You have to have
so great.
Have a word. But yeah, so like that's kind of like our day off ritual. But I think I don't know about you, but on days off I feel like there are like not set things that you do, but there's set things that we like. You don't have to do them, but like we get a bagel, and then what kind of stuff do you do on days off?
It changes on each day off, but there's always kind of like a set trip happening, but then if you say want to change it to something else, then you can. So like there'll always be like a bus going to say the mall for half a day, and then another bus going somewhere for a full day.
That's so cool.
But say everyone comes together and they're like, you know, can we take this for the full day but go here instead? As long as you're all okay with it, then you kind of sign up and then those people can go there.
No way.
So there was one day off that I was like, I don't know why I always used to organise the days off, and I think that's just who I am as a person. I think I'm quite type A maybe. So I really like to organise.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah. But there was one day off where I was like, we need to go to the Dr. Seuss Museum because that's in Springfield, which is near my camp.
One of the Springfields.
One of the 34 Springfields.
34.
But no, so I planned all of that and got everyone on board, and everyone was like, yeah, that sounds like a good, like something different, you know, great idea. So we went to Dr. Seuss Museum, where it was, I think it was like his old house, I want to say.
Aww.
And it just had all of his old work in there, like all his old house set up. It was lovely, to be fair. Obviously it was made for kids, but then the upstairs bit was more of like a museum, which was nice to kind of see. Like had like the Cat in the Hat,
some
the
real
Lorax.
culture.
Not the wait, the Lorax, is that Dr. Seuss?
Yeah. No.
I don't. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
Dr. Seuss vibes, but no,
I don't know. We'll move on from that anyway. I don't know if the Lorax is. But yeah, we do a lot of things like that, and you could stay at camp too. Like a lot of people would stay at camp and just kind of chill by the lake. they have a lion. Call home.
The
Things
lion,
like,
yeah. The lions make me laugh because you're so awake.
Yeah.
Like you lie there like,
but you just want to like
eyes closed.
chill.
Yeah. Pretending that you're asleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, on our days off, so there's a bus that takes you to the mall, and bus that takes you into New York. Well, takes you to the train to get to New York City. That's like early. That's like 6ish, I think. But then we quite often, like, I would only really go to the mall if it was raining or if I needed something. But there's quite a lot of people at my camp who like live local or drive to camp, so we have cars. So big one that we do is Skinners Falls. I feel like most people who went to camp in like upstate, like New York and Pennsylvania, will know Skinners Falls. Like there's always other camps there. I love Skinners Falls. That's
What is Skinners Falls?
Oh yeah, so no context. So it's basically like a river, but one half of it's Pennsylvania and one part of it's New York, and you can like tube down the river. I've never tubed. I don't like stuff like that, but you could if you
like to do that.
Yeah, if you wanted to. There's the option to tube, but yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Well, in terms of my camp, it's quite far away. But yeah, so it's about 40-minute drive, and it's just like a lake and rocks.
I feel like it's nice to do stuff like that. I think like one day off, again, we had people with cars, like American staff that would bring cars with them. We just went on a hike, like a mild hike, not like a mountain. And it's just nice to do something different. Yeah. Because that was only about 2 hours of your day off as well.
Exactly.
So you just go on that hike and then maybe go and get some ice cream and then just chill at camp.
Yeah.
So it's just a nice kind of variation.
That's the thing I think about going to the mall, is I always feel like not trapped there, but like I think I want to.
I know what you mean.
Do something, like go somewhere. But yeah, and there's lakes near camp as well, so we'd sometimes like walk to them and things like that.
Yeah.
But evening off wise, so we get like 3 or 4 evenings a week. That's basically after your log sheet's handed in, after the kids have gone to bed, you can sign out, and then we have a curfew. It's normally like 12:30 or 1ish, but we like about a 20-25 minute walk. There's like a little street with some restaurants on and a petrol station which does like food, so we usually like wander down there. But sometimes like I just don't want to. I just want to chill. Like
I think when I had evenings off, I think we got like one evening off, but it would be from like 8.
Okay, yeah.
So it'd be like earlier. So you'd be off from like 8 until like 11, half 11 or something like that. I just want to like lie on a couch and maybe scroll on my phone. Like just do little things like that. I think there was one night where we went and drove off and went to the shop. But all the other nights off that I had, I honestly just wanted to lie there and kind of just relax.
Sometimes we borrow the kids' chairs and take them like behind the lake and like just sit and chat. That's nice. Because I said that to my friends when I got to, because obviously it was my second year, this summer just gone. When I got there, I said to my friends, I was like, don't feel like you have to go out every night.
Yeah.
And they must have been like, what a loser. And then like at the end of the summer, they were like, don't feel like you have to, because I think you burn out.
You need them to just chill sometimes. It's nice obviously going out and doing things.
Yeah, and seeing people. But what I quite like about it as well is because of the time difference, no one at home's really awake. So it's like you're not, sometimes my time off in the day, I feel like I'm like, I need to ring mum, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. But then of a night, it's just like,
just relax.
Yeah, get Kindle, read.
Yeah. We had a little TV lounge out of camp that it was for the older kids, so they could like sit and chill in there, only for like an hour a day or something. But obviously at night they'd all be in bed, so when it's your night off, you could go sit in the lounge and just watch TV and kind of all chat in there, because there's loads of sofas and everything.
Yeah, just breathe,
just unwind.
In and out. Yeah, there was one day off we went on this summer, and there was like a big camp event. So we have something called rope burn at camp, and so we caught our day off early to go back for rope burn. So it's basically, this sounds probably a bit mad, but it's basically there's like 2 big sticks with like 3 sets of ropes in the middle, and the kids, so it's like the second oldest kids, they get picked to do it, and they have to run into like the woods, pick up sticks, and like it's the first person to burn all of their ropes. So they're probably like as tall as me, these ropes, and it's the first person to burn them all. And then everyone's like chanting as they do it.
Wow.
Whose ropes go down tonight? But it's funny because there's like, whose ropes go down tonight? Whose ropes go down tonight? And then it's blue ropes, 3. If you say it 4, you're out, essentially. You're not really out, but you
What?
Isn't that so funny though with camp traditions? Like it's like
I feel like until you've done them, you think, what are you
hear about
talking
them and you're like, and then you do it. Blue.
Yeah.
Do you have any like events, traditions or anything?
Because the kids come per week, we do the same things like each week, but obviously different variations of the same thing. But we have one that is called a cabin cup, so all the cabins compete against each other in little activities. So it'll always change like each week what they do, because some kids might come for multiple sessions, so they might come and then leave and then come for another session. So you have to keep it different,
like different, in
case they come for the same two. But I feel like I can't remember now if we have any like chants or anything that we do. But I think when I get there, I'll remember them all.
Yeah, they'll come back.
But yeah, we just kind of do that. And then we have a football tournament once a week as well. Where we just do silly things. Like there'll be different themes. So I think one year we did the eras theme. So each team was a different era. And then for the reveal,
is it like Taylor Swift?
Yeah,
eras?
sorry, Taylor Swift eras.
Like
not different, like
70s
the
or like
Victorian
era.
But yeah, it was all different Taylor Swift eras, and they did a big reveal to let the kids know what the theme was.
That is so cute.
Because the kids wouldn't know what the theme was, but we would all know. So I remember I think I might have been Lover Taylor or something. No, I can't remember now. That's not important. But we all walked out into the dining hall, like played, where it's like the intro for the Eras tour.
Yeah.
It's like, it's been a long time coming, fearless. That one. And we just walked through, and then obviously the kids all knew what it was, and there was confetti and all of that stuff. So I feel like that's like a little...
I love stuff like that, yeah. We had a little Eras tour. Like we all the kids would go into each other's bunks and make friendship bracelets, and then they went in, and then it was like the Eras tour again. But yeah, our camps, I think because ours is like a traditional camp, it's quite big on like events and traditions and things like that. So we have rope burn, that's a huge one. Like that's a full camp night, everybody goes.
Yeah.
We have colour war as well, which I love. So camp gets split into 2 teams, blue and gold, because they're our camp colours. And then some staff get picked to be the leader. I was blue team leader this year. We won, not to spoil it.
Not to brag.
Yeah. And then it's just like 4 days of like competitions basically. So they'll have like football competitions, swimming competitions, and then there's a really good one called Apache, and it's basically a whole camp relay. So it takes like a couple of hours, but every kid does something, and it like takes them the whole way around camp. So it could be something mad, like one of them is making a smoothie and drinking it, and then they pass it to the next person. Like it's all crazy stuff. And then the last one is kettle boil, which is similar to rope burn in the sense of everybody sits in dead silence, and they have to make a fire out of these bits of wood. I feel like I'm not explaining it very well. And there's a kettle on top of them, so we sit in silence because we're waiting for the kettle to whistle. The first person whose kettle whistles wins.
I think we were going to do that last year. Yeah, my camp director spoke about doing that, so that's where I got it from.
Ask him where you got the inspiration from. But yeah, Apache's a really good one because it's just random stuff. Like it's one of them was like doing a maths equation and like putting your mouth in cream to pick out like M&Ms. So I know, yeah, but I can't think of any other camp traditions now. We have colour run as well, where you wear like white and do a run with like powder paint and things like that. But I'd say that's probably like things like that are bigger in traditional camps. Yeah,
I feel like we did that stuff but condensed into like one day. So obviously, like you said, your colour war thing, I feel like that'd be like a cabin cup.
Yeah.
So we do that but condensed into maybe a couple of hours in that evening, so it'd be like an evening activity. The same with the football tournament as well. They do like other little like silly things as well. I think the other evenings you do like a campfire one evening. So we did kind of all those things. It'd just be shorter.
on a small, like a shorter scale, I guess. I feel like this is, speaking of camp traditions, campfire songs.
Oh no.
Yeah, so this week's little challenge I have prepared is finish the lyric campfire song edition. So there is one rule: if it's a repeat after me song, you can't just repeat it. Like you have to do like what the next change in words is, and if you want to sing it, please feel free to sing it.
Okay.
So finish the lyric, campfire song edition. Number 1. Hey, hey, bo diddly bob.
I've got to get back to my block or shop. It changes.
Okay, yeah.
With this pizza box in my hand, I'm going to be your pizza man.
Pizza man?
Pizza man. I'm going to be your pizza man.
Ding, ding, ding.
I thought that was the next one. I was
that was.
I don't know that.
Imagine bells. Okay. The second one. I can't say myself seriously saying these. CAMPFIRESONG song.
And if you don't, what? I know this though, but if you don't know the words, it'll help if you just sing along. Boom, boom, boom.
Is that it? That's not what I've got.
I have no idea.
It could be. Maybe it's.
Maybe I'm singing a different part of
If
it.
you don't think we can sing it faster, you are wrong.
That's it. Yeah, I got it wrong.
Were you right? Okay, you got it wrong.
I got it wrong.
Okay. Number 3, I feel like this is like a staple. I feel like I know this from doing like residentials in primary school as well. I said a boom chicka boom.
I said a boom chicka boom. I said a boom chicka rocket chicka rocket chicka boom. All right.
Number 4, there was a great big moose.
He liked to drink a lot of juice.
And did you do the coffee bit as well?
No, we said he drank his juice with care, but he spilt some in his hair.
Oh.
And then it'd be the moose's hair went stiff, so he styled it in a quiff.
No, we do. He had a friend named Jack who liked to drink his coffee black.
What? Well, okay, we're both right with that one then.
Okay, this one. This is going to be, well, this has been stuck in my head since I wrote it. But I didn't buy no Denny's.
What?
But I didn't buy no Denny's.
I've never heard this in my life.
Haven't you?
No.
Instead, I bought some bubblegum. Bazooka bubblegum. No?
No. Don't know what song she's singing up in New York.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's like permanently lodged in my head now. So you got Hey Ho Biddly Bop. Hey Hey Bo Diddly Bop. You got that one right. Campfire Song. You got that one right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, I don't think I did. I got it wrong.
Open to interpretation. Yeah. Boom Chicka Boom. You got that one right.
Mm-hmm.
There was a great big moose. Got that right, and we learned.
And we learned that there's 2 different variations. There's probably so many different variations of all of them.
Yeah.
Because like with the first one, the Pizza Man, Bo Diddly Bop one.
Yeah.
I say get back to my block, but I think some people say shop.
I think I say shop.
I think it could be shop. I don't know why I say block.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Sherby Ben.
I'm gonna be no summer. That's it. Now that's like the whole.
I know. I'm gonna just be thinking about that
the rest of my life. They're gonna be stuck in my head. But yeah, so back from the campfire songs. I feel like a big part of the camp, and I think what keeps a lot of people going back, I'm sure you say the same, is like the friendships.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think we could do like a camp episode without discussing like the friendships and stuff come out of it, because my camp friends are some of like my best friends. Like I think they're all great.
Yeah.
I think the only downside of camp friends is that they tend to live
far away. It's so sad.
Away. I know. And I think that's something that keeps people coming back. Like year on year on year.
Yeah. I feel like most of my friends now are from camp. Like I still have like some friends from that I met at school and stuff like that are still like I consider my best friends. But a lot of my best friends, I've got so many best friends.
My name's Ffion and I've got loads of friends.
But they're from camp. So one of my friends, we have lived together. We've been like housemates a couple of times now after camp. So we met there, figured out we were both going to university in Liverpool, and we were like, oh, perfect. Moved in together, and then we lived in Birmingham together, and then now we both live in the same city again and see each other all the time. And I feel like my other camp friends sadly live really far away, like somewhere in Scotland, London, Australia, America, kind of all over the place. But we try and kind of meet up at least once a year all together if we can. Obviously my friend that's in Australia, we can't because it's so far away. But yeah, I feel like they're just like such close friends. And
and I feel like they're those kind of friends like you might not text them for a couple of like weeks, but then it's just so
it'll always be the same.
Yeah, because I think something I find as well, I don't know if you'll agree, but say when you return to camp, people that maybe you weren't so close with your first year, you're automatically close with them your second year because you've got that common ground. Like we've both come back to do this, we've both kind of like made, you know, sacrifices and whatnot to be.
Yeah, and I feel like the situation you're in when you're at camp, that's why you build such close friendships, because I'd say, you know, if you meet people at uni, it might be that you kind of see each other on nights out and stuff like that, and you might not form like a really close bond. Yeah. But at camp, you're together all the time. You're kind of doing these silly things. You're being really vulnerable straight away. So I feel like you just kind of, that silly side comes out straight away.
Yeah.
So then you're all just kind of like silly together, and then I feel like that's how you get a lot closer, like doing stuff like
straight
that.
away. I think especially your co-counselors, like the ones that you live with, I feel like it's never awkward.
No.
Like I feel like it's never like, hi, I'm Libby. Like it's straight away. It's like, I think it's because you know, because you know you're living with them for the summer. So it's like, oh,
yeah,
guess we're best friends now.
Yeah, get the awkwardness out the way in like the first conversation, and then you're just like, right, we're best friends. So.
But no, like there's been people at my camp who've like met at camp and then got married. Well, Paul, your camp director, met his wife at my camp, didn't he? And then
got married. Still together now. So I feel like there's loads of little love stories like that when they meet at camp.
I do think like relationships and things like that. Sometimes I think it can be a bit of like not a touchy subject, but a bit of a unspoken thing.
Yeah, almost like it seems like a bit like taboo.
But when you're at camp, like I obviously went back this year for my second summer, but my boyfriend came with me, so it was his first summer. But for me, I just kind of wanted him to have the same experience that I had had. So I was just kind of like we got to camp and I was like, bye.
Yeah.
Off you go. Like I did it last year. You're on your own. But yeah, I've always found like, I know some people kind of issues can arise, you know, if like maybe they fall out and but I think as long as you're kind of going through it, like your friends are like the main people at camp and like the kids obviously. Like, as long as it's not getting in the way of any of that stuff, then you
definitely, as long as you go through with like a level head and you think kind of you know, this is a job first of all. But then making those friendships and maybe relationships out of it, like that's great as well. And I feel like they stay with you for life, the friendships. Maybe
sometimes the relationships.
The relationships too.
Sometimes
definitely.
the relationships.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to start to wrap this one up, we have had a couple of questions sent in again.
Okay.
So the first one is from Chloe A, and she said, what do I do about bank accounts? Do I need a special one?
So I know with my camp, when we got there, we were given an American kind of like debit card, a click card.
Yeah, we have click cards.
Yeah,
just couldn't speak.
Where they'd load the money onto it, and you were able to use it in any store accepted it. You could spend money on it, and then I know this year I had quite a bit left on it when I came back home, so I transferred it over to Wise, which is an international like money account that gives you an American routing number, so you're able just to transfer it straight. So it's like a bank.
They can't just bank transfer in America.
Yeah,
crazy.
So it's like a sort code account number, but it's called like a routing number. Routing
number.
And then you could transfer the money over. I think most camps now will do it on some kind of prepaid card like that.
Yeah,
everyone I've spoke to, that has happened. The year before my first year that some of my friends went to camp, they got it in checks, which they don't do anymore, obviously, for obvious reasons. And they'd go and have to cash their checks every couple of weeks at the bank down the road. Ye olden times. But yeah, I think definitely reach out to the camp director if you're unsure if you need one, but I'm almost certain that will be the case anyway. And when you go over there, you can take like a Monzo, Revolut. I use a post office travel money card. A little bit retro. But yeah, any of those cards that don't kind of charge while you're spending money in the shops, you can always take them if you want to take some money before. I think that's my main advice. A little bit of cash as well.
Yeah,
a little bit. Not too much, but
my card got cloned my first year, so
a bit of cash would have helped.
Bring cash. Yeah. I took my Monzo. So obviously when it got cloned, I had to cancel it and reorder one. Yeah. My mum posted it out to me. But I would say Monzo, Revolut, because then, although you've got your click card or whatever card that you're getting paid on to, if for whatever reason you need money from home or anything, it's accessible. They can
just send it over.
Send it on over. So yeah, I'd definitely say Monzo or Revolut or...
Wise as well do cards.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, whichever one's best.
Yeah.
And then Charlie P has asked, does the J1 visa allow us to travel before camp as well?
Yeah, so technically you have a grace period before your contract starts at camp and a grace period after your contract ends at camp, which is 30 days either side. Traveling 30 days before your contract starts is like a little bit trickier. I feel like you need to have travel booked, maybe hotels booked. If you're staying with, family, they can write a letter, and you just obviously need to know their address because they might ask you that when you get there. There'll just be like a couple of more questions beforehand, but as long as you're not going to work early.
Yeah, that's the main thing they'd be
want to know.
bothered about, really, isn't
They
it?
don't care about what your plans are before. They just want to know you're not going to work.
You can to Disney. Oh,
yeah. And then afterwards, obviously, you get that 30 days to travel around, to do whatever you want, really.
Yeah, I'd always say travel after, because you got your friends and things like that then. But a lot of people...
I went out a few days before.
Yeah, I am this year, because I think it helps you with not the jet lag.
But the tiredness from the flight.
Yeah, it helps you the tiredness that you can kind of rejuvenate before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that brings this episode to a close, I believe. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I hope it kind of summarised camp a little bit for you and you feel a bit clearer going into it. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to join us for our next episode, which should be out next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Camp Leaders Podcast. If you liked it, please remember to hit subscribe to be the first to hear about all future episodes.